stressed out already. So I'm going to try to do my sections, and if I mess up a section, I'll just tell you, and then you'll know. Well, hi, everybody. First of all, I want to thank NERFA for having me today. And I'm so happy we're in this beautiful room here at Club Passim, where my whole career started. And this is one of my favorite venues in the whole world. And it's a room that I will always come back to. As long as they let me come back to this room, I will always want to play music and see music in this room because I feel like it's a magical space. I thought about starting here and what I knew and what I didn't know when I started out doing music. And when I started, I didn't know all the things that I didn't know, but I didn't really know anything. And I didn't know that it was impossible to do music as a career, but I didn't know it was possible either. And I think that not knowing was really important in the beginning. We call it now in songwriting, we call it daring to suck. And I think I had a lot of dare to suck back in those days. And in co-writing, we emphasize that because you have to be able to put your heart into everything you do, and you have to put your guts into everything you do. And sometimes you really have to be open to the possibility that what you do is wrong in the moment, but it will lead you to the right thing. I can't really go back and listen to the songs that I wrote back then, and I can't really go back and listen to the way I sang them or the way I played them. But I thank God that I had enough ignorance to believe that I had just enough in what I was doing to be worthy enough to stand on a stage like the stage here at Passim. So Johnny Cash delivered the South by Southwest keynote speech in 1994 with his guitar in hand, and he said that he needed it to have something comfortable to fall back on. And I can't sing like Johnny Cash, and I can't play like Johnny Cash, and I don't even look as good in black as Johnny Cash. But I appreciated the idea of being comfortable with that guitar and a group of words strung together in rhyme form, and how we are so comfortable in that format. And I really wish I could just sing this all to you. But I learned early on that there's no point in writing a song unless you put your heart into it. And there's no point of going forward with the song if you don't put a little guts into it too. So today, that's my goal. I'm going to give you as much heart and as much guts as I can in this little speech of mine. And the famous Johnny Cash keynote, you can look it up online. It's quite amazing. He starts with a murder ballad, which seems fitting. And then he speaks to his love of music. He talks about where that love came from and how the joy of music for all of us, music lovers, can always be found again in the beginning of things. What we heard first, what we came up on, what songs we covered, what songs we ate up like cereal, as Sean Colvin would say. He's in the midst of recording the American recordings at this time, or he has just finished. It's his 81st record. And he talks about learning 2 new chords for that project. And Johnny Cash reminds us all that the real joy is in learning something new, in the beginning of things. He says he makes things with his hands, his heart, and his head. And then he says these words: "It's got nothing to do with age." And that speech reminds me to learn new things. By the grace of God, I don't know a lot of things, so I got a long way to go. And music will never be less of a mystery to me than it is right now. But the beginning of things is maybe where so much of that magic really is. I'm a list maker, so I made a couple of lists for you. One of my lists is things my kids have taught me, and I'll start with that one, because my kids are such the beginning of things for me. And I don't really remember much about my life before I had my kids. So I'll start with a list of things that my kids taught me. Number 1 is patience. Number 2 is sleep is overrated. Number 3 is that it's better to be selfless than it is to be selfish. Number 4 is if you keep hearing the word no, keep asking until they get tired of saying no and just say yes. And if that doesn't work, just ask somebody else altogether. Number 5 is anyone can do 12 things at the same time. Completely. Number 6 is live in the moment and always live in the moment. Number 7 is go outside. Number 8 is writing happy songs isn't as hard as it seems. Even though it seems really hard, it's not that hard. Number 9 is sleep is underrated. And number 10 is patience. Because you really have to be patient. And with music, you really have to be patient. And I think all those things apply to music. So I wrote you a music list too. What music has taught me. The song writes itself. Number 1. The song writes itself and you have to just listen to the song. Don't sit in a room with anyone who doesn't make you feel brave. That whole dare to suck thing. Your dreams have dreams of their own and you have to let them surprise you. Don't stop growing up. Let your mentor be your youth. Let youth mentor your age. Maybe take a young songwriter out for coffee and see what they have to say. Again, the song writes itself. Sleep is underrated. A new writer can mentor a seasoned writer, again. And be inspired by the beginning of things. And music will always keep you young. I totally believe music will always keep you young. A few years ago, I wrote a song with my friends Brandy Carlisle and Natalie Hemby for the High Women Project, a song called Crowded Table. And it was Natalie's title. And I showed up to write one night with Natalie. And she said, I want to write a song called Crowded Table. And I just loved that title from the second I heard it. And that song has been such a blessing. I have a bit of my own crowded table at the McKenna house. And in these past few years, our kids have needed less and our parents have needed more. Our neighbors have less ball games playing in the street and need more of their trash cans taken in or something picked up at the grocery store. There's less young kids in the neighborhood. And when I look at the table, I see babies and I see my children and I see my siblings and my parents and my friends and my coworkers. And given at any time during any one of the meals that we share together, we're learning from each other. And over the years, we've made the table longer. And it changes who sits at the head of the table and who holds court that day at the table and who has the spotlight and who pours the wine and who picks the groove and who has the title and who has the hook. But the table grows and we always find another seat. And that crowded table has been such a gift to me. Sorry. See how I always make myself cry? So I love the crowded table of our community. And I love the community of our musical world. And I love the friends and the family that it has brought to me and to my family. I'm gonna stop crying, I'm sorry. And I think it's time that we all learn a couple of new chords. In 1993, Johnny Cash learned 2 new chords and made a record that brought a whole new generation of listeners to his music and his genius. He learned those 2 new chords and he played his music as he always had, with his hands and his heart and his head. And in the words of the great Johnny Cash, it's got nothing to do with age. So thanks for having me. I'm sorry I cried. I can try to do this again without crying. But thank you for having me, and thanks for thinking of me, and thanks for letting me be part of this amazing community.